Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. Step back to 1964, a year when the United States grappled with profound change and uncertainty. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy still lingered in the national consciousness, while the Civil Rights Act marked a pivotal step toward equality amid escalating tensions in Vietnam. Economic pressures mounted as a severe coin shortage gripped the country, fueled by rising silver prices that prompted hoarding of precious metal currency. In response, Congress passed legislation to phase out silver from dimes and quarters, but the transition was chaotic, leading the U.S. Mint to halt production of proof sets for collectors that year. Instead, the Mint focused on churning out circulation coins, with Philadelphia striking over 2.6 billion Lincoln cents, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse since 1909 and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse since 1959. These pennies, composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, bore "In God We Trust, Liberty," and 1964 on the front, with "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent framing the memorial on the back. No mint marks appeared, as was the practice for Philadelphia issues. Amid the high-volume output, the Mint experimented with special striking techniques to potentially replace proofs, using polished dies and carefully prepared planchets for a small batch of coins. These test pieces, intended for internal evaluation or perhaps presentation, were not meant for release, but a few somehow escaped the facility, possibly through employee pockets or overlooked lots, blending into the billions entering commerce, used for everything from vending machines to charity collections. As collectors later pored over the Lincoln series, these unusual strikes began to surface in estate lots and change jars, their distinct qualities hinting at something beyond standard production, slowly revealing their status as unintended survivors from a secretive mint trial. Envision Clara, a museum curator in her late 50s from Illinois, in 2008, examining a small envelope of coins from a thrift store find during a weekend outing. A devoted enthusiast of Lincoln cents since her youth, captivated by their ties to American resilience, Clara often hunted for pristine examples to add to her albums. One afternoon, a 1964 penny gleamed differently under her desk light. Its surface had a smooth, satin sheen rather than the typical brilliant luster, and the details, Lincoln's hair strands and the memorial's columns, were unusually sharp. Her curiosity stirred. Was this a cleaned coin or a proof-like anomaly? She compared it to her references, heart fluttering as she noted the absence of a mirror finish but an elevated quality. Online discussions mentioned whispers of "special 1964 cents," but many dismissed them as fantasies or altered pieces. Clara's quest unfolded over months, magnifying scans, emailing variety experts who offered cautious intrigue, and grappling with disbelief as initial appraisals suggested mere circulation wear. Emotions ebbed and flowed, disappointment from negative feedback, a spark of possibility from archived auction photos. At a national coin convention, a seasoned numismatist paused over it, suggesting it matched rumored experimental strikes. Submitting to NGC, she waited with bated breath, her thoughts swirling around the coin's potential secrets. When the certification returned as a 1964 Special Mint Set, SMS, specimen in SP66 red, her hands trembled. No longer ordinary pocket change, it embodied the Mint's hidden experiments, providing a window into the pressures of the coin crisis and transforming her collection into a repository of untold histories. The coin's perceived value, initially shrouded in obscurity, began to emerge in the early 1990s when the first set surfaced at auctions, fetching modest sums around $5,000 for complete denominations amid skepticism over their authenticity. Catalogued as experimental or presentation pieces, these SMS cents gained traction as grading services authenticated them, with early sales in the late 1990s climbing to $10,000 for high-grade examples, hinting at their link to the Mint's proof hiatus. The 2000s brought broader recognition through numismatic publications, yet economic downturns like the 2008 recession moderated enthusiasm, holding values steady as collectors prioritized essentials. Intrigue built with sporadic appearances. Experts estimated only a few dozen coins existed, derived from perhaps 20 to 50 unreleased sets. By the 2010s, online marketplaces amplified demand. A 2014 auction of an SP67 reached $12,000, suggesting ties to historical scarcity without disclosing fuller potential. Fluctuations ensued, plateaus during market volatility, surges as Silver-era nostalgia grew. Clues in journals pointed upward, a 2019 sale nearing $16,000, fueling speculation on untapped rarity. Into the 2020s, amid a collectibles boom, pristine specimens broke $20,000, driven by digital forums and the coin's enigmatic backstory. The special strikes attributes profoundly altered the penny's identity. Unlike standard 1964 cents with a brilliant or matte finish, the SMS version boasts a satin texture, smooth and even, with razor-sharp inscriptions and devices that pop under light, as if struck with enhanced pressure on specially prepared planchets. The design elements remain identical, Lincoln's bust crisp, memorials detailed, but the overall quality elevates it, lacking the deep mirrors of proofs yet surpassing business strikes. This variant's rarity stems from its non-public production, believed to be test runs for future sets. Only a handful escaped destruction or secure storage, making them ghosts among billions minted. The impact turned a common cent into a numismatic enigma, symbolizing the mint's adaptive experiments during a turbulent period. Collectors debated origins, prototypes for 1965 SMS, or gifts to dignitaries, yet, a jaw-dropping twist emerged. In 2023, a leaked mint document from the 1960s surfaced online, suggesting the 1964 SMS coins were struck for a confidential presentation to congressional leaders amid the coinage debates, but a batch was misplaced during facility audits. Dismissed initially as forgery, authentication in 2024 confirmed its legitimacy, revealing micromarkers like unique dye polish lines on known specimens. This disclosure, detailed in a 2025 Coin World article, not only validated long-held theories but uncovered a previously unknown set in a government archive, auctioned privately for $150,000 total, with the penny portion commanding $35,000, elevating all SMS values and adding a layer of political intrigue. Values exploded post-revelation, the 2020s channeling momentum via apps and virtual sales. A 2024 SP66 sale topped $25,000, suspense escalating as archived pieces trickled out. The penny's ascent from obscure to elite paralleled innovations, spectral analysis confirming finishes, NFT-tracked ownership, and renewed interest in transitional eras. Each deal hinted at soaring futures, with projections of $50,000 for top-tier examples. The strike satin allure reached beyond visuals to the coin's essence. The enhanced definition, evident in Lincoln's features, evoked a premium prototype feel. Scarcity deepened from potential melting or loss, prizing radiant keepers. Speculation on the mishap, a audit oversight or intentional leak, sparked fervor, prompting hoard inspections. Clara's narrative echoed across enthusiasts. A hobbyist in 2022, sifting auction leftovers, mirrored the wonder at the satin glow, enduring grading ordeals that valued his at $18,000 due to pedigree. Feelings aligned, revelations thrill, probes angst, endorsements ecstasy. Market undulations, pandemic halts, recovery booms, shaped the variant's course. Every bid a tail juncture, the finish's subtlety defied norms, inciting mint record dives. A trial run or elite gift gone awry. Sparseness grew as cents faded in use, each surfacing a coup. Another stratum, 2024 replicas, buffed to mimic satin, faltered on die markers, inflating certified bounties. Through it all, the penny's pricing traced a gripping climb, from mystery to marquee. The $35,000 mark in 2025 wove mint experiments, collector zeal, and a declassified secret, redefining a cent's legacy. Unearthings and trade sustained the puzzle, the variant's full breadth forever beckoning. The odyssey of the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny intertwined deeper with coinage lore, its weight expanding via each probed nuance. The special strike's import lay not just in its finish but in encapsulating a nation's monetary pivot, a covert test amid shortage woes. The satin surface, velvety under magnification, bore the same Lincoln motif but with heightened clarity, as if dies were hand-polished for elite scrutiny. This anomaly, from unreleased trials, yielded perhaps 30 to 40 survivors, scattered post-1964 through unknown channels, nestled in drawers during moon landings and Watergate. Clara's find kindled a flame traversing the numismatic realm, her chronicle one of legions fanning the penny's aura. Picture Marcus, a student in 2021, spotting a 1964 cent in a family safe. The even sheen halted him, leading to scale tests and forum posts. A novice via podcasts, Marcus's trail paralleled Clara's, joy dimmed by doubters labeling it cleaned, reignited by SMS guides. Step back to 2014, a year when the United States was emerging from the shadows of the Great Recession, with economic recovery gaining traction under President Barack Obama. Global events like the annexation of Crimea by Russia and the rise of ISIS dominated headlines, while domestically, debates over healthcare reform and immigration policies intensified. Amid this backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Lincoln cent, a staple since 1909, now featuring the shield reverse introduced in 2010 to symbolize unity and strength. Philadelphia minted over 4.1 billion pieces without a mark, Denver added 3.7 billion with a D, and San Francisco struck proofs. Composed of zinc coated in copper, these pennies displayed Lincoln's profile on the obverse with "In God We Trust, Liberty," and 2014, while the reverse showcased a shield with "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent. In the die preparation process, hubs transferred designs to working dies, but occasional shifts during hubbing, perhaps from mechanical vibrations or slight misalignments in the high-pressure environment, created a secondary image on a few obverse dies. These imperfections often escaped notice amid the mint's massive output, as inspections prioritized major flaws over subtle varieties. Coins from these dies entered circulation, passing through cash registers during a time of smartphone proliferation and social media's growing influence, their anomaly hidden in plain view. As variety hunters scrutinized the Shield series in later years, this doubling began to attract scrutiny through magnified images and forum posts, its implications dawning as a hallmark of hubbing variability in modern minting. Picture Ethan, a graphic artist in his mid-30s from California, in 2018, flipping through a roll of pennies from a bank during a coffee break. A casual collector of Lincoln cents since college, drawn to their evolution as reflections of American identity, Ethan habitually scanned for sharp strikes or oddities. One day, a 2014 specimen paused him. Under his phone's magnifier app, Lincoln's ear seemed notched, with a faint secondary outline echoing the primary. His intrigue mounted: was this lighting, or a doubled feature? He uploaded close-ups to Reddit, where replies ranged from dismissals as machine doubling to hints of a die variety. Ethan's path deepened over weeks, cross-referencing with error guides, feeling a blend of skepticism and adrenaline as he learned about hubbing shifts. At a local coin shop, the owner squinted and suggested it resembled a double die obverse. Emotions churned, frustration from inconclusive comparisons, glimmers of excitement from similar eBay listings. A forum expert advised professional grading, leading him to ship it to PCGS. The wait was tense, filled with late-night research on shield varieties. When the slab arrived labeling it as FS 101 double die obverse in MS 65 red, his pulse raced. No longer just a cent, it captured the mint's subtle slips, offering a personal connection to the precision's imperfections and elevating his pursuit to one of elusive discoveries. The coin's worth, at first understated, started percolating in collector circles around 2015 as the first attributions appeared in numismatic newsletters, with low-grade examples trading quietly for $50 to $100 amid doubts over authenticity. Recognized as a double die where the hub impressed twice without perfect alignment, it gained footing as grading services like PCGS cataloged it as FS 101, pushing mid-grade values to $200 by 2017, teasing scarcity from limited die usage. Economic steadiness in the late 2010s bolstered interest, but the 2020 pandemic initially slowed auctions, stabilizing prices as virtual shows adapted. Anticipation grew with rare sightings. Experts gauged fewer than 500 survivors, many in circulation where. By 2021, an MS 66 specimen hit $500 at a heritage sale, signaling appeal in the Shield era's modernity. Yet, market dips followed supply chain issues, tempering bids until recovery sparked climbs. Hints in catalogs suggested upward trends, with a 2023 transaction nearing $800, intimating investor curiosity without revealing summits. The error's traits vividly reshaped the penny's form. On a standard 2014 cent, Lincoln's ear is singular and defined, but the double die obverse exhibits a clear secondary lobe below the primary, with subtle overlaps in the hair and jawline, visible under 10x magnification, creating a shadowed effect. The inscriptions and dates show minor thickening, while the reverse shield remains unaffected, heightening the obverse contrast. This misalignment's rarity arose from brief production. A single hubbing shift likely affected a handful of dies, yielding sparse output before correction, positioning it as a whisper among billions. The design shift compelled detailed inspections, underscoring automation's limits in 2014's high-tech mint operations. Enthusiasts theorized causes, a momentary hub pressure variance or equipment calibration during extended runs, but a riveting revelation appended the story. In 2024, a purported high-grade FS-101 surfaced at a Midwest show, only to be flagged as counterfeit after grading revealed inconsistent doubling spread. The incident ignited debates. Was it a sophisticated fake or grading error, with some fearing a flood of replicas? The puzzle resolved in early 2025 when a Denver family cleared a late relative's safe, a former Mint technician, uncovering a small hoard of 2014 trial strikes, including an FS-101 variant with unique die markers linking it to experimental hubs. Graded MS-67 red by NGC, it auctioned for $4,200 in July 2025, not only debunking the fake scare but exposing a hybrid error, faint reverse clashing from test dies, a dual flaw that quadrupled interest and premiums for confirmed pieces. Valuations soared amid the disclosure, the mid-2020s funneling drive-through apps and podcasts. A 2024 MS-65 sale surpassed $1,000, drama intensifying as hoarded items emerged. The Pennies rise from niche to notable mirrored evolutions, laser diagnostics verifying doubles, online communities accelerating attributions, and Gen Z viewing modern variants as alternative assets. Sales intimated loftier realms, with whispers of $5,000 for elite hybrids. The anomaly's visual depth extended beyond the ear to the coin's core. The secondary image, strongest on facial contours, conjured a mirrored illusion, as if the hub echoed mid-process. Scarcity amplified from zinc's reactivity to environmental tone, cherishing fiery reds. Hypotheses on the glitch, a test run overlap or calibration slip in Philadelphia's quota, added layers, spurring change hunts. A new Ethan's saga resonated widely. A enthusiast in 2023, perusing estate sales, echoed the thrill spotting the ear notch, braving authentication hurdles that valued hers at $600 due to grade. Sensations mirrored, discoveries buzz, researches grind, confirmations high. Economic waves, inflation pressures, rebound growths, charted the variance narrative, every lot a plot point. The doubling's asymmetry challenged symmetry, prompting Mint protocol queries. A solitary hub fault or broader trial? Infrequency heightened as sense dwindled in commerce, each detection a triumph. An additional facet, 2025 forgeries, etched to mimic lobes, failed spectral scans, escalating certified bounties. Throughout, the Pennies appraisal sketched a captivating escalation, from subtlety to stardom. The $4,200 peak in 2025 fused hub mishaps, devotee passion, and an unearthed hybrid, recasting a sense essence. Revelations and exchanges upheld the intrigue, the variant's ultimate scope perpetually tantalizing. The narrative of the 2014 Lincoln Sense double die obverse wove further into numismatic fabric, its resonance growing with every dissected detail. The error's heart wasn't merely the duplicated ear but how it encapsulated minting's human element in a digital age, a fleeting hub shift amid 2014's relentless production. The secondary lobe, crisp under light, bore the familiar Lincoln but with an ethereal twin, as if dies conversed in misalignment. This FS-101, from errant hubbings, produced perhaps hundreds before tweaks, dispersed into pockets during Ebola scares and streaming booms, their peculiarity dormant till keen gazes awakened them. Ethan's revelation sparked a fire traversing the collector domain, his tale among throngs kindling the sense mystique. Consider Mia, a teacher in 2022, finding a 2014 in a classroom jar. The year's echo stopped her, leading to loop checks and blog dives. A beginner via apps, Mia's route paralleled Ethan's, elation faded by skeptics calling it shadow, revived by variety lists. Her journey covered virtual meets and a club exam, feelings swirling, doubts weight, ally encouragements boost. Her NGC submission was bold, the delay fraught as she dreamed of a rarity. Returned as FS-101 in MS-64 red, her joy immense, though surface specs limited worth. This scent, from her teaching years, tied personal milestones to Mint lore, morphing her pastime into a hunt for veiled gems. The Scent's monetary track drew a compelling curve, its ascent punctuated by unearthing waves and fiscal pulses. By late 2010s, verified FS-101 in finer states reached $400, their sparsity outdone by vivid kin like 2019 broadstrikes.